Today I'm going to show you how I created this full stop motion mixed media animation using my own design and Figma Weave's new timeline editor. Hi, my name is Noam, and by the end of this video, you'll be able to create your own mixed media animation using whatever design you choose. Let's dive in. First I sketched, and the best part about it is that I don't have to worry about making it perfect. I can just focus on my vision and I'll clean it up later. But if you don't want to sketch, you can just use whatever image you'd like. Once I'm happy with my illustration, all I need to do is to import it into Weave by dragging and dropping it from my desktop, and here it is. This is my original sketch. But now I only want to focus on this part. Now I'm going to use the crop node to crop out the part that I want to work with, which in my case is this pose. Now we're going to use Nano Banana Pro to clean up the illustration. We are asking the model only to clean up the illustration and not change anything else about it. And you can see it did a really nice job. It's the same sketch, but the lines are cleaner and the shades are much finer. Now we can create our first keyframe. Just like in animation, we want to start in a video model with a really strong keyframe. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our illustration and I'm going to change the pose of the leg to start from a passing position. Just like in animation, we want to start from the strongest pose, which is the passing position regarding walking cycle. Because I want to create a walk cycle, I'm going to create this exact pose. I'm asking Nano Banana to only change the position of the legs and nothing else because I want my design to stay the same. And now we can see the result is perfect. We can use the compare node to make sure nothing changed but the position of the legs. So if I toggle here, you can see the only thing that changed is the legs, which is exactly what I wanted. Now that I'm happy with my key pose, we can start creating the video. So first, we're going to take the keyframe and connect it into a video model. In my case, I'm going to use Kling 3. And then I'm going to create a really strong prompt. Here, I described everything I wanted to achieve. So I asked it to create a short looping animation of a stylized Dachshund dog. I really wanted it to be based on my provided sketch. I wanted the dog to walk in place and stay fixed in center of the frame. This is really important for the later stage of the compositing. Using this really strong prompt with my original sketch brought us this result. So I'm really happy with the result. I think it's exactly the animation I wanted to get. It's playful, it keeps the styles intact, and now I can take it and start playing with it. So I'm going to take the animation and I'm going to change the style of it using a video-to-video model. First, we want to change the style of the original sketch, of the keyframe. So we will take our keyframe from here and we'll connect it into Gemini again, Nano Banana Pro. And we will ask with a prompt to keep the style the same, but change it to look like a sticker. And you can see the result is really cool. We can see the drop shadow here below. The shadows are really strong. I love the stroke and it really feels like a graffiti sticker. So now that we have the sticker, we can change the style of the animation. We're going to take the sticker from here and we're going to take the animation from here and we're going to connect them into a video-to-video model. In this case, Kling 01 reference video-to-video. Here you can see my reference video, my image, and I added a prompt because it is mandatory. You can see by the asterisks here. And in the prompt, I just described the style that I wanted, so the model will actually know what style it needs to implement on the video. In this case, a sticker. So now, after we ran the model, you can see the animation transferred perfectly. It took the sticker look and feel and implemented it into the animation. So this is exactly what I wanted to achieve. I'm super happy with the result, and now we can start creating a bit more on top of that. First, I want to create a perfect loop because my end goal is to have a looping animation of the dog walking in place on different backgrounds. So it would feel like stop motion, mixed media animation. To do that, I need to cut perfect loop of animation. So I'm connecting my video-to-video model into the compositor. Now is the fun part. I'm clicking edit and you can see here, I've got a timeline. I can just trim down by holding the layer and deciding where to start and where to end. You can see I set my frame rate to be 24 frames per second because that's how we work in animation, and my duration is exactly a second. So now when we play it, we have a perfect loop. Previously we had a 5-second animation and now we trimmed it down to be 1 second. So we can take this perfect loop and start working on top of that. Now, once we have the perfect loop, we can remove the background. So I'm using Bria's background removal here, and you can see it's amazing. It got the animation, it removed the background, and now I've got my animation on an alpha, so I can use it to composite it on different background. Now that the animation is completed, let's go create background. First, we're going to use a prompt and an any LLM node. We're going to tell the prompt is the guidance to the LLM. we're going to tell it to generate exactly 12 completely distinct environments. You can see here, I gave it strong directions. So I want all of the environments to be close-ups. I want them all to fit for sticker. I want them all to feel urban, to suit the graffiti kind of feel. And I'm asking the LLM to separate each prompt with an asterisk. This is super important because later we're going to separate the prompts into different sections using this asterisk. So you can see here the result. I have different prompts, each separated by an asterisk. Each prompt describes a different environment. Now we're going to use Weave's Text Iterator. The Text Iterator is a node that gets multiple prompts in it, and it sends them all to generate at once. So each prompt will be generated separately, but all with one click, which will save me a lot of time. So here you can see I set the split text by an asterisk, because then it will take the text here, it will scan it over, and will find wherever it sees an asterisk. And then when it sees an asterisk, it will create a new prompt. That way I get 12 different prompts. Now all I need to do is to connect the text iterator into an image model. So here is Gemini 3. Again, you can see here I have a text iterator and 12 values. That means it will generate 12 values at the same time. It will generate me 12 different prompts with 12 different outputs. And here you can flip between all the outputs. It's exactly what I wanted. I've got the backgrounds. They're all in the same composition, so it's easier for me to stick the sticker later on. They're all street art, all unique, different colors, different environments, and I'm very happy with the results. But now I want to work on each layer separately. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to unpack them. Here I'm going to click on the three dots, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to click on Unpack. What this does is that it takes all the results that are hosted under the same node and it unpacks them into different nodes. And here it is. I unpacked everything together and I've got each of the backgrounds on a separate node. So now I can take each one of them and I don't need to duplicate my Nano Banana 12 times because I've got each of the results on different outputs. Now for the fun part. We're going to combine everything together. But first, you need to understand something important. And this is the key to this animation. You might ask yourself, why did I create only 12 backgrounds when I work with 24 frames per second? And that takes us back to the core of animation, to the core of classic animation and stop motion animation. Because in stop motion and in classic animation, we work in twos, which means we show each drawings twice over 2 frames. That means if we use 24 frames per second, we only use 12 drawings. That is why I only need 12 backgrounds, because I want my animation to feel like stop motion or like classical animation. And for that, I need to work in twos. If I work in ones, which means I will show each drawing one time over 24 frames, it will be super quick and smooth. And that's what I want to avoid now. I know I'm working with AI, but my goal here is to make it feel manual, to make it feel humanized. So that is why I'm using 12 and not 24. Now let's start compositing. So we're taking these backgrounds and we're taking the animation and we're going to combine them together. Let's start from frame number 1. You can see here, I use the extract video frame. That's a node that all it does is to take the frame that I mentioned here and extract it as an image. In this case, I'm using frame number 1. You can see that if I put here frame number 12, it will jump to be frame number 12. So let's go back to frame number 1. I'm using my frame, which is frame number 1, and I'm using the background, which I took from the Unpack here below. And I'm combining the two using the compositor. You can see here the compositor. We have the extract video frame as an input, and we have the background as an input. We're going to go into edit mode, and we're going to place the dog in the center of the frame. We can use the alignment as well, so I can click here and here. And you can see it's exactly in the center. But here is my magic tip, because if I put the dog exactly in the center, it's going to feel super artificial. So the tip here is to use the keyboard arrow to click a bit down and a bit to the left to make the dog wiggle a bit. So on each of my compositors, with each different backgrounds, I'm going to click on different sides with the arrows. So the dog will wiggle just a little bit. So when I composite it later, it won't feel as if it's artificially exactly in the center of the frame. Because if we go to the streets and we use stickers to stick it in different locations, we will never manage to make it exactly in the center of the frame. It will always jiggle a little bit. So that's what we do here. Once we're happy with the position of the dog, we can exit the compositor. And now we want to make it feel really like a sticker, not like we just, use copy and paste. We want to make it blend with the environment. So now we're going to take the compositor and we're going to connect it into Nano Banana Pro. And we're going to use a prompt here. And in the prompt, I told Nano Banana Pro to composite the image so it would feel like the sticker is part of the environment, but to not change anything else. Don't change the position, don't change the style, only make the sticker feel like a sticker. And that's my prompt. And once I did it, I got a really nice result. So this frame is ready. Now all we need to do is duplicate it 12 times and change the inputs to the exact frame and to the correct background. And if I zoom out, you can see that that's exactly what I did. Here I use frame number 6, here I use frame number 17, and so on. So I've got a layer for each frame. You see, I named it correctly so it will be easier for me to find everything. Once all of my results are ready, all I need to do is stitch everything back together. So I'm going to connect all of the results, all of the Nano Banana results, into the compositor. I'm going to have 12 inputs into the compositor. Here they are. Now I can click Edit, and you can see I don't have a timeline. So I need to make sure I'm enabling timeline here on the right. Once I do that, I will have a timeline showing here below. So we're going to take the layers and we're going to put them one after the other on the timeline. We can make the exposure longer or shorter as much as we'd like. In the end, I used an exposure of 3s. So it means every drawing is shown for 3 frames. I did that because it made it feel more manual and more real life and less artificial, but you can do whatever you'd like. We can now play the animation and see that it works. And that's it. That's my stop motion animation. It's my design, my compositions, and full creative control. I've shared the full workflow in the description below, so feel free to duplicate it and create your own mixed media animation. And if you like this, please share, subscribe, and let us know what workflows you would like to see next.